Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and in this video we're going to talk about how to create the rock, paper, scissors game. So I'm sure we all understand the logic of rock, paper, scissors. In this game, you're going to translate that logic into programming logic that we understand. You can stick with the traditional rock, paper, and scissors structure, or you can make the game as unique as you want. As you see when we get into the programming, though, the more possible options you add, right? When we stick with just three, the logic is pretty easy to figure out. Rock beats scissors, scissors beats paper, paper beats rock. That's pretty easy for us to figure out. If we add more, like rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock, right? Then we have so many checks that we have, right? Because with that, you have more than just one possible win condition with each option that you would choose, and it's a whole thing, right? So I would recommend sticking with the three originals and then branching off of that, but those three can be anything you want. It can be, instead of rock, paper, scissors, it could be, I don't know, courage, wisdom, and strength, right? The Triforce from Legend of Zelda. It could be really anything you want. I saw someone one time did... Now, I don't recommend this because this is insanely crazy. Someone did an entire Pokemon type chart, and they did all the logic for if you pick a grass type Pokemon, these and then the computer chose a fire type Pokemon, then you get it. Insane. It was a huge program. Don't go that crazy. One that I've seen in the past, I've seen people do elements like fire, water, wind, earth, that kind of stuff. I don't know. There's some fun. There's maybe something there that you can go with. So here's the deal, though. The game should determine who won, right? I don't want you to just output, you chose rock, the paper, computer chose paper, right? I do want you to output those, but then I want the computer to then decide of those two who actually won the game, okay? And that's where your if statements are going to come in. You also want to account for a draw, meaning that you and the computer pick the same thing. And you want to account for an incorrect input, meaning your user entered something that doesn't make sense, right? So let's actually go ahead and build it. I have a new REPL open here. I'm calling it rock, paper, scissors. I'm going to organize my stuff here just a bit. Okay. And up here, I'm going to type rock, paper. Okay, let's get rid of this menu and move this over a bit. Okay, so let's think about, first let's put some variables in here. So what do we need in terms of variables? Well, we're going to need a string variable that stores user input. We're going to need a string variable that also stores computer choice. Actually, yeah, we'll need a string. We are going to need a string array called options. And inside this options array, we'll have rock, paper, scissors. Okay, now notice that I typed it all lowercase. That's going to be important for our comparisons later. I'm also going to need a random. Oh no, R&D equals new random. Okay. What else? I will need an integer variable called index, and I'll actually just equals R&D dot next, and it'll be options dot length. And then I will say comp equals options index. Okay, so hopefully you remember what all of this means right now. So I've created a couple of string variables, one for our user to enter their input, one for the computer to get their random index out of this string array of options. So the options are rock, paper, and scissors. Then I have a random. I'm creating an instance of the random class. Then I'm going to store a random number in this index variable, and then my comp, basically whatever the computer chose, is going to be equal to options index. So it's going to pull one of those random options out of that array. So now I know what my computer has chosen, right? Or at least I don't know, but my program knows what my computer has chosen. Now I have to get my player to choose something. So console.writeLine choose, make your choice. And I'm actually going to make this a write, console.write. In here I'm going to say user equals console.writeLine, or no, not read line. Okay. So now, at this point in the game, I have something in the comp variable, and I have something in the user variable, but I just need to compare them together. I need to see if they are equal. So let's make our first if statement. Check to see if we have a draw. So if user equals comp, then console.writeLine you chose and the computer chose the same thing. Now I'm going to do something here that you might not have seen. Oh, actually, you know what? My face is covering it. Let's shrink my face here a bit. Okay. You see this dash N? This dash N right here? This means new line. So it basically says just push the next part of my text to the next line. Okay, so that's going to be what happens if we have a draw. So let's figure out what will happen if we win the game. So we're going to do an else if, meaning there's not a draw. So now we need to figure out all of our win conditions. So if user equals, let's start with rock, and comp equals, so what does rock beat? Rock beats scissors, right? Now, notice that all of these things are lowercase. Up here you might be thinking, wait, Mr. Storm, what if they type in all of their user input as capital? Well, there's one way we can fix that. After the console.readline, we can type dot to lower. And that just makes everything they type into lowercase. Okay, so if the user equals rock and the computer chose scissors, right? So that's one comparison. So if the user chose rock and the computer chose scissors, or, right? Oh. Or, let's put this on the next line so it's easier to see. Or if user equals scissors and the computer equals paper, or if user equals paper and the computer equals rock. Let me actually push this down here so we can see a little bit about what we're doing here. So here's the logic that we're going through. We're basically saying if the user equals rock and the computer equals scissors, that's one win condition. So if that is true, then we won the game. But let's say it's not true. Let's say the user did not choose rock. So then we have this or here to tie these statements together, meaning even if this isn't true, this might be, right? So we'll check this as well to see if this is actually true. Let's say both of these aren't true, but this one is. Well, we're tying these statements together with or statements, which means if any of these are true at all, then you've won the game. Okay? So inside there, I'm going to indicate what we're going to do, console.writeLine. You chose. Now, it's always a good idea to tell them what they chose and then tell them what the computer chose as well. We'll do this new line thing. So now we've checked to see if they've won, right? What do we do if they've lost? Okay. Now, here's how we would check for a loss condition. And I'm actually going to put this all back where it's supposed to go so it's less confusing. All right. So this is all that first else if statement right there. So now we can check basically literally any other, well, actually, no, we need to check to see if they've lost. And we also need to check to see if what they've entered doesn't really make sense. So we need an else if here. Now what we can do is we can actually just literally copy and paste the logic from here. Copy, paste it into here, and just swap these. So scissors, rock, paper, scissors, rock, paper, right? Because we're checking to see if we lost the game. So then here we can copy and paste this, copy. Oh, you lost. All right, now we can check to see, we can just say else, because literally the only condition that's left, we already checked to see if they match, we already checked to see if we won, we already checked to see if we lost. Literally the only thing that's left is you type something that doesn't make any sense. So console.writeLine, I don't understand. Please try again. That's it. That's the whole program. Let's test it out and see if our logic holds up and see if the game actually works the way it's supposed to. So I'm going to hit run. Oh, hello. We missed some semicolons. See, look, it happens to me too. I miss stuff every once in a while. So we're looking at line 26. Line 26, semicolon expected. Ah, I forgot a semicolon there. And I forgot a semicolon there. It happens. I've been programming for almost 20 years now. This is what happens sometimes, still to me even, okay? All right, so rock, paper, scissors, make your choice. Let's type something strange first to handle this else condition. So I'm going to type boogers. I just typed boob. Booger. I don't understand. Try again. So let's actually step through the logic of what happened there. I typed booger. This said if user equals comp. Well, does booger equal whatever comp became? No. So then we move to the else if. Is user going to match any of the user comparisons in here? No, because it's not anything it's looking for. Same thing down here. User's not going to match any of the user comparisons we're looking for. So the only thing that's left is this right here. Okay, perfect. Let's run it again. Let's actually play the game this time. I'm going to type rock. I chose rock and the computer chose scissors. I win. Beautiful. Let's try, oh, hello, scissors. And I'm typing it uppercase so you can see that that to lower thing actually works. Oh, hold on. Maybe I'm lying to you. Let's run that again. I want to try that again. I typed something before it actually compiled. Okay, so there we go. So notice that it took my input here. I typed it capital S, but it actually took my input and made it lowercase. And when it spit it back at me, it shows me that I chose a lowercase, that it pretends like I typed lowercase scissors. So it says you chose scissors, the computer chose rock, you lost. So I've already checked whether it handles an edge case. I've already checked to see if it handles a win condition and if it handles a loss condition. And I've checked to see if it will handle different case situations, meaning I can type it uppercase, lowercase, all of that, and it all works. So this is it. That's the rock, paper, scissors game. Now you can make it look fancier. Again, you can add some color to it. You can add some more text to it. You can add a counter that counts how many times they win, all that stuff. We'd need looping for that, but we'll get into that next semester or next term. What's some other things? Oh, let's say you wanted to add some more logic to this. Instead of using 3, you're going to do, let's say, 4 or 5, right? Well, for that, you would need... let me actually show you kind of. So with rock, paper, scissors, the way it exists, you have 1, 2, 3, right? You have rock, you have paper, and you have scissors. Now, rock beats paper, paper beats scissors, and scissors beats rock. That's a pretty easy triangle for us to figure out. But let's say we actually did something else. Let's say we wanted to add, I don't know, something here and something there, right? Well, then not only will we have to have these arrows for these comparisons, but we would have to figure out what's the relationship between paper and this thing, right? What's the relationship between rock and this thing, right? So there would have to be, rock would have to be able to beat 2 of them. We'll say rock beats this, and be beaten by 2 of them. All right. This would have to beat 2 and be able to be beaten by 2. Right? You see how complicated it gets? Paper can be beaten by both of these, but it needs to be able to beat this, right? Scissors can beat these 2, but it gets beaten by this. So it gets really complicated the more logic you have in there, because everything has to be able to interact with everything else. And just by adding 2 more things, 2 more logics, or 2 more options to our logic set, we've then increased the amount of comparisons we have to make. So over here in your program, you'd actually have to have, instead of the, you would have not just 3 comparisons, you would have, 10 comparisons just by adding 2 more to this data set. So maybe stick with 3 for now, and then if you feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more jazzy, and you want to add more, then go ahead and add more. All right, that's it for me. If you understand this concept, and everything that we've done already, then when we get to next week's project, you are going to fly through it and you're going to have a super good time. I'm telling you, the next project we work on is going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be awesome. And I will see you then.